Hello, welcome back to Jagrita Anubodhata. I hope you've been seeing my videos in this channel. I'm sure it would have given some information about life and the things we can look at it conveniently, how we are going to tread a path of life towards happiness. As I explained in my earlier videos about samskaras are basically the living dynamics of impressions. So what we create as an impression and leave, will continue for years to come. If you're impelled or compelled to go after the same set of experiences, probably you will be getting the same results as well. So whatever we are taking as action in this birth will create a memory, which I call it a karma cycle, karmic cycle, and it will follow you for years to come. Why do I make this statement? It's simply because this self is never born, nor does it perish, nor having come into existence here in this earthly plane will again cease to be. Just as an individual forsaking raiment dons new clothes, so the body encased soul, relinquishing the decayed bodily habitation, enters others that are new. That is the whole cycle of life. As you know, life is a limited period soon, and everyone lives different ages and different way of living things. How many of us really, go through the fullest of life? We don't know, and it is subject to interpretation. So, in this limited period of life, how do we make ourselves happy, and how do we make others happy, surrounded by, the light of bliss, a galaxy of things that can happen? We can really do it, in a happy way if we are going to select certain paths in life. From a self centered attitude or a selfish attitude, you move towards a sacrificing attitude. That means sacrifice, I don't mean by saying that you give away everything. We need to perform those actions which are obligatory in nature, which are dutiful in nature, which will make your life beautiful. The duty towards parents, the duty towards children, duty towards spouse, they're all obligatory, isn't it? You need to go through this if you are a grahast, because most of us are grahasts and very few sannyasis are there in the world. I mean, the real sannyas who give away everything for the sake of humanity. What takes us closer to the bliss we are talking about is the ability to visualize the joy in others' eyes and the happiness in others. When they are doing well, you should find happy at your heart because they're doing well. That kind of, attitude, a positive attitude, will make the whole world happy. And how many of us really do that is a question mark. I'll give an example. When someone is very hungry, starving, you buy food for them and see what's happening after they complete or consume the food you bought for them. You look at their eyes, you will find the real glitter, real happiness, which probably you will not be able to get even if you pay or if you get millions of dollars. All decrees of God are equipped with mercy. All decrees of God are always equipped with mercy. However, we human beings are not like that because we are selfish many a time, and we are also cruel many a time, and we don't look at others' point of view. We don't even want to listen to others because we chase material so much. We don't look at other than what is required for us. So we need to move from that towards sacrifice mode. Sacrifice, I don't mean by giving everything away. I told you, you have to do your dutiful things, you have to do your obligations. Still, you can be happy, you can make others happy. I'll give an example of certain people here. I take the names. The reason is I always remember a few people I have interacted with. I was working for a company. I'm talking about a corporate house. My initial years of career. So I was posted in a place called Bangalore, and the organization had more than 50,000 people. One of the well-known brands of India, and I had a lot of colleagues in Bangalore branch. With a branch manager called Mr. M.J. Sriram, and I found two people, very interesting people, who were making always others happy, who were looking for happiness in others' eyes. The first name I take is Nalini. Nalini is much elder to me, almost 9 to 10 years. But when I went to that office, she welcomed me, and every time when I wanted something, she was more of an elder sister to me, and she was so affectionate, and she was so caring, and she was so empathetic. I can't even explain or describe in words. So every time she used to say, not only to me, to everybody, what will I do without you? So that is a sentence I always remember for life. And she will try to help others in every possible way, personal, official, and whatever little help she can do to ensure that the happiness is prevailing in that place always. And very interestingly, Nalini had, and she has a big family even now, where she sacrificed many things in life. She's still unmarried, and she did not marry because she had an elderly sister who was mentally affected or retarded, and she has to take care of her. And then she had sisters and brothers, many of them. She was almost a mother to all of them in bringing them up. So she sacrificed her whole life for the sake of family. Very, very rare to see in recent times. I've not seen, the integrated families are getting disintegrated. The joint families are getting disintegrated. And here is an example of Nalini I want to give you, from a self-centered mode to a sacrifice mode. Another gentleman I want to pick up from the same office is Mr. Gautam used to call. Again, a very God-fearing person. He will look very tough and rough, but he was so good at heart. But he wanted to see every single person in the organization to grow. In fact, when there were opportunities for me to move elsewhere to Mumbai from Bangalore, he advised me that I should take up that challenge and go. And here is another example of a person who is not self-centered but look at the welfare of others. That is my second pick of colleagues whom I have worked with. And the third one, very interesting personality, very well educated, Raghuram. Raghuram was working as my colleague along with me in RPG Enterprises. He had lots of health issues, and you won't believe, we were sharing a cabin, and he used to tell me, "Look, Narayan, all the equipment inside my body are not mine, so I'm working on rented body. This body is moving, but I still go on." He always, he always used to tell that you should be always happy, irrespective of what happens there. So nothing is in our hands. Let's be happy. So he was very, very affectionate to not only his colleagues, but to his family, his spouse and girl child, parents. It was so loving, and he's still in touch with me. Despite several challenges of health, he continued to smile, he continued to help others, he continued to look at happiness of the universe beyond his own happiness. So these three people I have picked up as examples. In life, there is no favorable or unfavorable circumstance. It is a creation of mind which makes it favorable or unfavorable. What is favorable to you, a situation or a circumstance, may be unfavorable to someone or vice versa. So the likes and dislikes of our mind are responsible for presenting miseries, joy, suffering, bliss. So if you really want to attain delight, what sort of delight you would be looking at? Uh, as far as I'm concerned, I know as a seeker, we look at a delight in different ways. Primarily, there are three types of delights. One is transgression, which is based on instinct. Animals do have that very often. And the second one is delight of self gratification. Many of us, get into this category very often. And the third is towards the delight of godliness. Once you move towards the third, delight, probably things will be entirely different in your life. So the karmic cycle, which we have been talking about, will also have a different, impression and memory for you, because, as I told in the beginning, we don't perish. A soul doesn't perish. It never ceases to be. It is never born. So these karmic cycles, will improve in terms of whatever form you are there. So the sanskaras are very important, and it is a living, dynamic impressions we are creating. Uh, and then I want to give you an example of, a family which is fighting because of property issues, of money-related material chasing. So you will find, the family fighting, family members, say 8, 9 people fighting for few lakhs of rupees, forsaking even mother or parents. And I've often seen this happening in many families. Probably we don't realize what sort of pain or hurt we are creating to your parents. And many children are actually not taking care of parents. So I want to give a very clear message that don't ever get into that kind of sin, because that's not going to leave you soon. It's going to chase you for births to come. So you need to be grateful. So my next topic will be definitely based on this, two things I talked about: from a greed to gratitude attitude. From a greed to gratitude attitude. That's what you are supposed to do when you really look at the purpose of life. Thank you so much for listening. Please share your thoughts, and if there is any feedback, I'd be more than glad to clarify that to you. Hari Om.